So what happens after you get rain 10, 12 days in a row? You go from spring to jungle. And that's kind of what the phase we are in right now is being called. Of course, there's some weeding that always needs to happen. I've got a few butterfly bushes this year, and the salvia is entering its third phase of blooming. The dahlias are, gosh, these are pretty. Lots of hidden gems in this nest of different plants. Got some tomatoes in here. Some more sea holly. These are fancy lilies, ruffled, if you will. Beautiful creased edges. Love the shades and the multicolor blooms. The garden gnome guarding the squash back here. Getting big, folks. Hopefully it doesn't rot with all this rain we've had, but the sun is shining, so she's very happy. She turns 15 this year. It's pretty cool. You're pretty cool. You're 15. Finally to the point with the carrots where I can start thinning. I was afraid they weren't going to grow, but 12 days of rain just about make anything grow, won't it? Beans have been thinned and thinned and thinned, and now the single plants have enough oxygen underneath of them and enough leaf structure above that we should be right as rain. Just takes time, patience, a little bit of love. That's it. Got cucumbers back here. There's one. They're doing great. I'm not sure if this is a pickling cucumber or if it's the straight 8. We'll find out soon enough. Sunflowers, volunteering, and a random bean, which is starting to fruit. The squash. This is the yellow summer squash, also doing pretty well. It doesn't look like I've got blossom rot. I do have a drop off now, which will kind of move that because I don't want it to rot. We've had so much rain, and when you see these, they gotta go. So that's coming from this guy or gal, and they are the biggest enemy. The assassin beetles, the stink bugs, all of it. And they will wreak havoc with your squash, especially when they're young and vulnerable like this plant is. So maybe today's topic is going to be pests in the garden. Now with those, I picked them off individually, and I don't use pesticides. This is an organic, legit 100%, but you also need to check the backs of leaves, and when you see it, you gotta get them out of there. So without ripping the leaf structure to shreds, just get your nail in there. And they can be somewhat of a pain in the butt to get out, but just squish them. You could probably take tweezers and do that as well, and do as little harm to the leaf structure as you can, but they have to come out one at a time, or with tweezers, or with your fingernail. Just gently scrape them and smush them. Even if they drop intact, they'll grow. Bumblebees aren't the only pollinators. We have tons of honeybees this year. It's been an excellent year for honeybees. The last 5 or 6 has not been. There's another cucumber coming up. But these guys are fantastic pollinators. And generally the blooms on cucumbers and squash will open in the morning and then close midday. So the bees have to get after it pretty early. Now, you're not going to get every single egg that's left by these assassin beetles and stink bugs. But if you just do every couple days or so, just do a check with the leaves, the backs of leaves, you can kind of keep them in check. It's almost impossible unless you're really doing, hey bee, I'm not here to hurt you. Go back to your bloom, buddy. Unless you do pesticides. And I'm just not willing to do that. It messes up the bee reproduction. Look at all of the pollen on this little guy's legs. They look like they've got swimming pool floaties on their legs. It's pretty cool. All right. I gotcha. Busy bees. I want to try and impart some helpful hints on as much of this video as I can. And I want to keep it in short little segments so it's not one run-on sentence. If you notice through the previous weeks of the garden, and I think we're in week 7-ish, somewhere in there, between 6 and 7 or 7, I put these in early. Anything where my climbers can climb, so I'm not smashing down roots once they've already developed. So now I've got runners that can climb on their own, and they will. Beans are very good. They're prodigious climbers. I've got some bush beans in here too. And the garden gnome is passed out. It's hard work protecting the garden. She's in good company. She's a good kitty. I don't know if you can notice, but she only has one back leg. She has 3 very good legs. But I don't let her out unless I'm here. We try to keep watch on her. It looks like they're talking to Scout next door. They're very friendly with the boys next door. Good kids. The potatoes. And I stand, oh wow, that's almost, hey, come back. I'm trying to get you on camera. Don't fly. They're quick and gone. There it is. So this is almost an albino. It doesn't have any spots. Hardly any. Bye. I'm 5 foot. The sunflower has now reached well over 6 feet. So it's about Dylan's height. Everything's as planned with the beautiful potato patch. It's been hilled. Should have some decent ones this year. And that's not a separate one. That is all one off of a massive stalk. There's going to be about 40 blooms like last year. Looks like I may have another. I'm not sure that it's a mammoth, but it's definitely having a good time. And then I've got some melons. It looks like I finally got some blooms getting ready to occur. Might be some zinnias. Whoa. Things are happening. Did you chase Nene? You did. Not cool, rascal. Don't listen to him. Rascal, being a boy himself, doesn't like the boys next door the way the girls do. The girls are in love of. Grapes. All this rain has promoted some really good growth on the grapevines. They're starting to look happy, and look at all this growth on the tomatoes. Now is the time. Actually started 2 weeks ago, but now is definitely the time. As these things really have a massive growth spurt, that's when you have to start watching for hornworms. Hornworms, knock on wood, I certainly do not want to conjure these things up, but they eat voraciously, they eat fast, they're almost undetectable from the tomato leaf itself. And they like the good thing, the one thing that you can count on is that they like to climb and eat upward. So if you see them, you're going to see them usually around the tops, but unfortunately sometimes that means that they've already eaten the bottoms. This holly, I'm going to move around to the other side, but it is in full bloom. But you can see where I had a path between these two patches of tomatoes, and now it's almost non-existent. The cherry tomatoes are going wild. I've got blooms everywhere, and this is now, I leave everything alone. These plants are more than big enough to sustain the growth of the fruit and the weight. I can prop them. It's, at this point, all grow, and produce as much fruit as possible. You can see some of the under leaves starting to turn yellow. As they die off before they rot, I'll go ahead and snip those. Never, it's a rule of 30% usually, but I'm way less than that. I don't usually cut anything off of a tomato plant, including disease. I try to treat disease by not cutting if it's at all possible, but unless the plant is healthy enough to sustain life, anytime you make a cut, it is going to be a little traumatic for them. So you want to make sure that your plants are healthy enough to handle it. And it looks like all of these guys are doing pretty well. So hopefully, barring anything weird or another 12 days of sustained rain, we should be good to go. Now, the bok choy, I'm letting flower. And the flowers are edible. Everything on these is edible. These get a little bit tart once they've started to bolt. This is a bolt process. Anytime that you have a green edible that shoots flowers up, it's great for pollinators, so I'm going to leave it be. I've harvested a ton of bok choy so far. I'm going to start harvesting this. And then look at this. This was a volunteer bean, but it's kind of going crazy. So the one thing I do want to do is keep it off of the tomato. I don't want it to strangle, and just attach it. Just let it climb the way it wants to. As long as I can try to keep it off the tomatoes, we're good to go. Blueberries bushes are doing great. The raspberry is doing great. I don't see any fruit blooms yet, maybe a little bit here starting. These are starting to blush. And then this is the other section of gourds squash. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And I see another culprit down here. And bean. But you see it, I see it. There it is, and we're going to kill it. As many of them as we can get. It doesn't matter if it stinks me or not. I'm smashing it, and it's gone. I hate to do it to any creature, however, and there's some of its handiwork, perhaps not that one, but again, now is the time where you really need to be vigilant on your pests, especially if you're not using pesticide. And just in a matter of a day or so, this is the damage that 1 or 2 assassins can do. Now, a lot of them like to suck the liquid and the nourishment out of the stems itself. So if you have a healthy plant like these appear to be, and you see something, well, I'll show you this one right here, that you can't quite get off. And I just got bit by a fire ant, which is so pleasant. Like this right here, I can probably get these off, but if I can't, I will snip that one leaf. Yeah, I got most of them. That's what they look like close up. And you just smash the mess out of them. Get them going. You have to nurture a garden. You gotta love it, so it loves you back. You got to spend time with it as best you can. So now that I saw those, I definitely want to see if there's anything else on the underside of the leaf. And just kind of do a random spot check every couple of days. Get what you can visually get, and you can see where I pulled a leaf off there because I just could not get that removed. And I will take a leaf and spare the plant. Sort of like the loss of one for the good of all in garden speak. Everything else seems to be okay. I just hope we don't get overrun with assassin beetles, because so far it looks like the squash are going to have a bumper crop this year. Just showing off the little volunteers here. And it looks like we've got a little, oh, you did. You showed me. Thank you for showing me. We don't want you here, Mr. Assassin Beetle. Bye-bye. Good job, kids. Looks like Bandit has joined. That's the beagle next door. Good stuff. Happy pups. Look at that smile. She thinks he's handsome. You think he's handsome, don't you?